I was genuinely scared and uncomfortable.
Dancing on the verge, anyone can love a pretty little mansion. But could you love her? A haunted house. Or could...
Hey Twisted people, it's your Twisted Girl here, Chauncey K. Robinson, and today I am doing a spoiler-free review of When Evil Lurks. In a remote village, two brothers find a demon-infected man just about to give birth to evil itself. They decide to get rid of the man, but merely succeed in spreading the chaos. When Evil Lurks is truly a disturbing, effective, and provocative possession film. There are genuinely some disturbing and effective scares all throughout this movie. There are a lot of positive aspects to When Evil Lurks. The main one, I think, being the lore and the expansion of, for people who may be used to possession films or exorcist type films where, you know, there's a heavy influence of Catholicism and the priest and getting permission from the Pope and the politics of that and things like that. And I think this benefits from being a dual production between Argentina and the United States, where you get an expansion that isn't necessarily Eurocentric, and you get something that plays a little bit more into, you know, maybe local folklore, into something that's beyond what the general public, particularly in the United States, may be used to when it comes to the rules of demonic possession. And I think because of that, because you're introduced to something that maybe that you might not be familiar with, the rules are different and you don't really know what to expect because you don't know how this plays out in this world building that we get. And I think that offers a new, fresh perspective for people who may have seen one too many, raise your hand, me, possession, exorcist type films that have a very central through line of the Catholic Church in it. And to be clear, this is not necessarily an exorcist type movie. Like, that is not the central aspect here. It's more so what happens when possession spreads to a community. And I think this also opens it up to, once again, not knowing how this is going to play out, because if you're not used to that kind of plot twist or that kind of setup for a film, it's gonna throw you for a loop. You're not really gonna know what to expect. The movie gets right into things. Like, when it opens, it's already setting this stage of an atmosphere of tension, of underlying horror. It sets the tone. The director does such a great job doing this that it plays throughout. Like, even when there weren't things happening on screen that were filled with gore or horror, I was still uneasy. With that said, when there is gore and horror, oh my gosh, it is a lot. And this may mean that this is not for the faint of heart. The gore and the horror is very much practical effects, which we love here. We don't like that phony looking CGI or whatnot because, you know, it doesn't feel as tangible, you know? And so this film, it lets you see it. Now, with all those great aspects, this is not a perfect movie. No movie usually is. And there are some cons that I think detract from the film. My main one is that there's little hope. And it can be hard to sit through a film where you kind of just get the vibe that is not going to go well. Because you're kind of like, so am I just sitting here to watch a tragedy? And there's nothing wrong with sitting to watch a tragedy. There are plenty of tragedies. Shakespeare had tragedies that are awesome. So that's cool and that's great. And so they can be effective too. But what I'm saying is, if you're going into this wanting a film where you think there might be some triumph going on throughout, you will probably be very disappointed. Also, some of this may be genuinely too disturbing for people, which leads me to the trigger warnings. Animal death happens a couple of times here. Child death, it happens a couple of times here. And I'm not talking about off screen and you're kind of alluding to it later. No. I think the story said F them kids. And there is also talk of self-harm that is alluded to a few times in the film as well. My overall grade for When Evil Lurks is a B+. I honestly think this was such a solid possession film, and I highly recommend it. I just also think that there were a few things that we could probably have done without, but I understand. And because of that, I'm going to say that if you're looking for a more lighter fare of horror fun, this movie is not for you. Okay, Twisted fam, that is my spoiler-free review of When Evil Lurks. Let me know if you're planning on watching the film, or if you've watched the film, and let me know your thoughts. Comment down below. And also let me know if you have some really good possession films that you think are high caliber, that aren't just The Exorcist. Let me know. Comment down below. And as always, keep it creepy out there. Thanks for watching.